Live here in beautiful Salt Lake City, Utah, here at DNA HQ. My name is Darren. That is AJ. How's it going, my man?
I'm doing great, buddy. I'm doing great. Been a busy week, crazy week. But how are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Ready to get this show going, man. Happy to be here. Happy to be able to talk sports and have a good time with the people out there.
And there's whiskey.
And there's whiskey. That's right. So pre-show cheers. Cheers to you.
Bam. Cheers to you guys.
So on today's show, we're going to be talking a little bit about college football. There's a little bit of information came through on the Heisman Trophy. There's a statement that we're going to need to break down a little bit on that.
Yes.
We're going to be talking about the Utah Hockey Club coming away with a big win last week on the air. While we were
huge.
Yeah, we'll talk about that a little bit and talk about what's happening that as far as the standings go. Talk a little bit about Jazz basketball and obviously wrap it up with some Major League Baseball content. So,
always.
Yeah, that's what we got on the docket today.
It's kind of just how we roll.
Yeah. Eventually, maybe we might switch up the lineup on how we do things, but
I don't know. We're too far in, Darren.
Yeah, this is we're stuck in our ways for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Stuck in our ways. We got Greg Hawkins in the chat here. Greg Hawkins saying, "Hello, gents. Have a great show."
What's up, Greg? How you doing this week, buddy?
Yes, let's have a great show for sure. Yeah, man. How you doing? You keeping busy? What's going on for you there? Cubs still undefeated? I don't think they are. I think they lost.
I don't know if they're ever going to lose.
The Cubs? We'll see.
We'll see.
2 weeks out from the games going on in Tokyo, so that'll be interesting.
Crazy.
Yeah. We'll talk more about that.
That offseason came on us quick, man.
Yeah, when we're covering baseball up until the end of October, beginning of November, it is really hard to really get a break, because it's just like there's two teams that literally get 2 months off before it's time to get right back at it. So
yeah,
it's kind of crazy. All right, so you want to go ahead and jump into the podcast?
Let's do it.
All right. We'll get over to the media thing here. There we go. Hello, Internet. Welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us on today's episode of the DNA Sports Recap.
Heisman Trophy winner says that football is harder than baseball. Let's talk about it.
With your Utah Hockey Club falls behind the Blues in the standings.
And Isaiah Collier wins Western Conference Rookie of the Month. Let's see how we got there.
In Major League Baseball, is Pete Rose going to get reinstated? All that and more. My name is Darren. That is AJ. And this is the DNA Sports Recap.
Roll the intro.
What's going on, AJ?
Oh man, I'm just enjoying life.
Me too, man. Me too. Happy to get into it. Happy to talk. Let's start off with a little bit of college football, shall we?
College football / baseball crossover. This is an interesting one.
Yeah. I want to definitely get into it here. Do you want to break down the story here?
Absolutely. So, in the NFL Combine, Travis Hunter's obviously there. He's projected to be a top 10 pick. This kid's a two-way star out of Colorado. He was a stud. He was a really electric player to watch out of Colorado. Obviously won the Heisman Trophy this year, beat out Ashton Jeanty from Boise State. And in this interview at the NFL Combine, he's asked, what is more difficult, what you do in football or what Ohtani does in baseball? To which he responds, probably me, what I do in football, because it's a lot on your body. Ohtani, he's a great player, but you got to do a lot in football. That's his response. And I mean, this has kind of been met with support for and against Travis, right? A lot of people have made comments how football is a much more physical sport. Football players are typically better physical athletes than baseball players are as far as conditioning. But on the flip side, Ohtani being an elite player in Major League Baseball is much different than Travis Hunter doing anything in college. And I mean, there's obviously questions. Will he play both sides in the NFL? Most likely not. He's specifically being scouted as a cornerback in the NFL. So what are your thoughts on, is it more difficult to be a two-way player in football? Well, let's just say football, because college football, we know, or is it harder for Shohei and what he's done in Major League Baseball?
Now, in defense of Hunter, man, I don't think I've ever seen the full interview and the full context of this interview. I don't know what questions were asked beforehand, to lead up to this. All I know is that he was asked that question that you mentioned,
yep,
and gave that answer. He's not wrong with his statement.
Right.
right? Football is a much harder sport to play on your body. You are playing both sides of the ball. You're not catching a break. You are, trying to break away from your guy to catch the ball on one side, and then you're trying to make sure the guy doesn't break away from you to catch the ball from you on the other side. You are constantly going on both sides of the ball, which is true. It's definitely gonna be harder on your body. Shohei Ohtani, 2 elbow injuries, now 2 elbow surgeries and a shoulder surgery, may throw a wrench into that. But when it comes to that here, there's a few things. Hitting a baseball is the hardest thing to do in professional sports. The hardest.
100%. We broke down the statistics, and it's literally what? You have 0.4 of a second to react on when you can actually swing. Well, you have 0.4 of a second to know whether it's a ball or a strike and to make a swing. And
that's on an average fastball of 92 miles an hour.
Exactly.
These guys are throwing triple digits, and it's a little ridiculous. Now, not to mention on that, some of the best pro athletes out there are going out there and throwing first pitch, like some of the best basketball players, best football players, on their celebrated off. So they go out there throwing the first pitch, and it looks ridiculous.
Absolutely.
Even when position players who know how to throw a baseball, they play baseball, they throw the ball from one side of the field to the other all day, and they go to pitch. It looks ridiculous. So these are people who are actually trained in that sport. You have, so to me, there's clearly different skill sets. Ohtani is 6'4", 210 pounds. He's not only that, he's also one of the fastest guys in the league. He stole 57 bases last season.
Right.
I think the learning curve for Ohtani to be able to do what Travis Hunter did is a lot shorter than what Travis Hunter's learning curve would be able to do that Ohtani can.
Oh, gee, hands down. That's an insane way to look at that, but yes.
Yeah. Did you hear the response from Jazz Chisholm?
No, I didn't.
He's like, we're gonna have to get that guy to batting cage and see if he can even come close.
I think that's kind of some of my point, right? Like, to say that what you do is more difficult. Travis Hunter is an elite athlete. Dude runs like a 4.4 40. Mm-hmm. He's ridiculously fast. He's obviously very talented at catching a football, but if you can't even get close to doing the things that somebody can do in a professional sport, he hasn't even stepped onto an NFL field yet.
Mm-hmm.
How are you going to say that what you're doing is more difficult? That's like saying, like, put Shohei Ohtani in a lower league and see how he dominates every single game.
Yeah. Yeah. I think what he means to say is it's hard on your body, but honestly, I think Shohei Ohtani as an athlete, as a big guy, would have an easier transition to play football than what Hunter could do in baseball. And then on top of that, you could also argue the point that, Mookie Betts, who's on Ohtani's team, he had college football scholarships as a running back. He also he's like 5'8". He can dunk a basketball. Being an athlete in base, it's not required to be a skilled athlete in baseball to be good at the game. But if you are an athlete in baseball, you can play other sports pretty well.
Right.
Or at least at an amateur level decently. Not the same way. If you're an elite athlete, you can't just come and play baseball and play well. So
the thing is hitting a baseball is something that, there's a very small percentage of people in the world that can do that effectively.
Yeah, and they fail 7 out of 10 times, and they're considered elite.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
7 out of 10 times.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. Let's get another comment here. We got one from Greg saying, "What Ohtani is doing is absolutely unprecedented. Travis Hunter needs to relax." Yeah, no, I think you're right there. And again, I don't want to get too much on him because I think this was a question presented to him, and he just responded.
Yeah,
and like I said before, he may not be wrong on what he says there. So he's not saying that it's harder. He's just saying that it's more physical on his body. And I think obviously he's going to know that pretty well. But honestly, but I think he's wrong on this one. I think what Shohei Ohtani did in baseball is, I'd be surprised if we ever see another 50-50, to be honest with you. Like, that's just,
that's absolutely insanity.
Yeah. So we'll see. 57 stolen bases and 53 home runs in one season. It's not going to be done. It's not going to be done. Not only is
if anyone's going to do it, it's going to be my boy Acuna, though.
Yeah. He's not going to be ready for the beginning of the year. So we're not going to see.
He's going to do it in a shortened season.
Yeah. Well, that's really funny because that's what Ohtani did. He didn't even try for stolen bases until he realizes it's only August and I'm at 40.
Yeah.
Just like, okay, let's go for it. I mean, September, I'm already at 40. Did you hear the interview back on college football? Did you hear the interview with Coach Whittingham today?
No.
So this has been a big thing. There's like 10 major programs out there that we're like 2 weeks away from the Forever 22 game.
Absolutely.
And there has been talks on the Hill about them changing or removing that game altogether.
Really?
Yeah, 10 other major programs in the country, Texas Tech, and I believe Nebraska have all changed it, and they're doing something else other than actual spring game because there's another portal period after. So, you know, the whole point of spring ball is not to see what you have, because then you're going to have a reshuffle anyway before fall camps, before summer camp, or before preseason camp. Is it fall camp?
Yeah, it's fall camp.
It shouldn't be fall camp because they play in the fall.
Yeah.
But anyway.
But that's exactly what it is.
Should be summer camp. But anyway. So yeah, there's been talks up on the Hill that might change. So, I mean, this may be the last year you see a Forever 22 game.
Dang.
Yeah. Anyway, I thought that was interesting.
That is pretty interesting.
We want to hear from you folks. Let us know in the comments down below what you think in regards to Travis Hunter's comments on Shohei Ohtani. We'd love to hear from you. Let us know in the comments down below. As a reminder, folks, we did just hit 1,000 subscribers on this channel. Once we hit $500 in AdSense revenue, we're going to be giving back all that 500 back to y'all. 5 subscribers are each going to earn $100 each. So make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on that giveaway.
Absolutely.
All right, let's go ahead and pivot on over and talk a little bit about, your Utah Hockey Club, shall we?
Yeah.
Oh, well, before we do that, quick note. I want to do a little bit of congratulatory thing here.
Okay.
Congratulations to BYU. BYU beat Iowa State yesterday on the road, 88-85 in double overtime.
I saw this.
Yep, winners of 7 in a row for this team. They beat the second seed in the conference right now, and to get to that win, which again shows how tough that they're playing this year. They didn't even need that win and they've had a good enough season up to this point to make it to the dance. They've already beaten Arizona State, right. Kansas State. This win shows that this team is prized to make a nice little run in the tourney this year.
Could be really fun to watch.
Yeah. I don't think they're going to be the first people out like they were last year. So
literally the very first team eliminated.
Yeah, they should be a 6 seed or a 7 seed, but knowing because they're not going to play on Sunday, they'll probably get bumped down to an 8 seed just because of the sheer fact of that. But think how crazy this team's going to be next year when they have AJ DeBance on it.
It's going to be a fun season.
Yeah, I think it's super awesome.
Yeah.
Congrats to BYU. We want to make sure we get that in there before we pivot on over and talk about Greg. Yeah. McKinley's not on, right? Yeah. So anyway, just congrats to them, and let's go ahead and pivot on over and talk a little bit about the Utah Hockey Club. First off,
on time.
You nailed it every time. First try every time. So first off, let's go. What a heck of a win last week, man. When we were on air last week. That 6-1 victory over the Wild was probably their biggest win of the year so far.
And really put a thumping on them. I mean, just a ton of goals. The goalkeeping was absolutely fantastic. Obviously, I mean, to take 40 and 50 shots on the net and only give up 1 goal is just a great statistic.
Heck yeah. Veggie was in this, between the poles.
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's awesome, man. Congrats to the team. I mean, I think it was just great to be playing the Wild, where the GM was one of the decision makers on who made Team USA. Yeah. And we know that Clayton Keller got snubbed. So the fact that he was able to go out there, have the type of performance he did, as well as the team overall, was just very nice. Very, very nice.
Absolutely.
So we had the trade deadline coming up on this Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern time. The Athletic Trade Board has Nick Bustad dropping from number 26 to number 35 on their trade board. From the looks of it, what I'm seeing is that the feeling is that well, that's my question I want to ask you is this more of a lack of interest in Nick, or is this more of the fact that Utah is just resisting wanting to give him up?
I think you absolutely nailed it. And I'm going to say the latter, right? I think this really says a lot about how this team is committed to this season's push for the playoffs. I think it also says a lot about how confident they are about getting additional talent in this offseason, because Nick has been great. And yes, obviously there's a chance that he leaves in this offseason because his contract expires, but there's also a chance that he stays. And the fact is if Bill Armstrong thinks that he can continue to add value, that Nick can continue to add value to this team, I'm willing to bet money that they make him an offer and get him to stay in Salt Lake for plenty more years to come because he has been a great part to this team. And I do think he could contribute in the future.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely think that he's not one of those midterm renters that a rental like we were expecting. I think they do have, they might have plans for him. I don't know. We don't have 9 now. We have 8 because Manta, I'm saying his name right?
Mata.
Ali Mata. They just inked him into an extension.
Did they get the extension done? I was watching it. I know they were working on a deal, but they actually got it done.
Yeah, I think yesterday it was finalized. So 3 years. Okay. Let us know in the comments down below or in the chat if you know on that one. I believe they just inked him in. He was supposed to be just like a 1-year rental, and he's just been so good for that team on the defensive end on the blue line there that they just decided to keep him long term, which I think is exactly what you need to do with these guys. Get them on the ice, see how they gel, see if they work with the team. And if they do, then, extend them for sure.
You just got to move forward, man. Absolutely.
For sure. So, anyway, so we'd love to hear from you folks on that. Let us know what your thoughts are on the best trade asset that we have in Nick Bukestad dropping from number 26 on the Athletics trade board down to 35. If you heard any rumors or anything, do you see them making any moves, if any? We'd love to hear from you in the comments down below on that.
Absolutely. Leave us a comment. Boom.
For sure. And if you're watching this on our live stream, please jump in the chat. Let us know where you're watching from. If you have any takes on what we're talking about, please feel free to jump in. We'd love to hear from you and chat with you. That's what this whole show's about. Just people just talking sports and, sipping on something brown,
Love it.
Yeah. All right. So let's go ahead and get back to the Utah Hockey Club here. Definitely not a lack of interest from people wanting him. He's definitely an interest from Utah wanting to move on. What a change 2 days make, man. What
Crazy.
A change. So while it's true that on Monday the Blues did pass Utah Hockey Club in the wild card standings, but at that point on Monday they were just 2 points behind. Right. Even Coach Turney said that we're just 2 points behind. Yeah. We're 1 win behind. It's so we're just right there. Well, now they're 4 points behind. They lost a game, and then I believe the Canucks won 1, or the Blues won 1. One of those two teams won 1, and now they're now 4 spots behind the St. Louis Blues and the Canucks. What do you take on that, man?
So they're 2 spots out of a playoff spot, and it's a total of 4 points out of getting into a wild card.
Yeah. So we have the Canucks, and we now have the Blues that are in our way to get to the final wild card spot that the Calgary has.
I mean, realistically, they've actually got a little bit of softer schedule coming up. So, I mean, this team just needs to keep winning, right? I mean, they were on
check out last week's episode where we talked about the strength of schedule.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a great one. But I mean, they were on a 3-game streak until that loss to the Devils, right? Where their defense played okay. I mean, there were some times where they looked a little bit spotty. They gave up a ton of shots. I mean, the Devils had some really nice shots to the backside of the goal, cross side of the goal, and they led in shots on goals pretty much the whole night. So, I mean, statistically, if you're getting more shots than the other team's generating, your chances of winning are just much better. So they do got a couple of home games in a row coming up against the Maple Leafs against the Maple Leafs and the Ducks. So if they can kind of split this road trip, they got, a couple coming up against the Red Wings and the Blackhawks where they're on the road. They can split this road trip and then get home, win a couple. They're going to be just fine, right? This team is looking at moments like they are all in on making the playoffs. And I think that they have the chemistry and the ability to get there. You just got to keep winning.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that they're the team that's in the state that people are rooting. I mean, not unfortunate, but even beginning of the season, we were setting expectations low. This is a rebuilding team. Every time Bill Armstrong's interviewed, he's like, this is a rebuilding process. We're not in our Final Four. We're developing our young players, blah, 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 doing all that. But to be this close, it's just unfortunate that this is their first year in Utah that, while I'm pretty sure most of us that are following this team will accept the fact that they just missed out on a playoff spot.
Yeah.
It's just really unfortunate because this is obviously the only team that we see going anywhere this year.
Yeah.
For the state. So it's just a little bit unfortunate. With that said, we also have the Ducks that are only 2 points behind us in the standings too. So watch out for that one. That's a 2-point swing that if the Utah Hockey Club doesn't get that game against the Ducks, that could create another problem. So
absolutely. And again, they're at the Ducks coming up. So yeah, the Ducks are actually here when they play. So, I mean, that's going to be a great game to be at, great game to follow up on. So make sure you guys check that one out. leave us a comment down below.
Absolutely. Once again, folks, as a reminder, you are watching this on Utah Hockey DNA. This is where we post all of our content for your Utah Hockey Club. Be sure to drop down in the comments down below. Let us know, if you have any questions or on this team, or if you have any questions in regards to hockey. We kind of developed this as a new channel specifically around the fans' new perspective, like a new fan perspective. It's kind of what we originally built this off of. Obviously, we'd love to hear from you. More seasoned hockey fans in the comments down below. Keep us honest. Let us know what we're missing. Because again, this whole point is just to kind of be an interaction here. We're not breaking news or anything here. Yeah. So we'd love to hear from you in the comments down below. Let us know. Subscribe to the channel. Once we hit 1,000 subscribers, we're going to be giving away one of those Utah Hockey Club jerseys. So be sure to make sure you're subscribed to the channel once that giveaway is coming around.
Yep.
All right. So let's go ahead and pivot on over and talk a little bit about the Utah Jazz, shall we?
Let's do it.
Just nailed that one, man. So
that's right. 3 clicks, bam,
done. Before we get into the content, folks, we did want to mention that this is Utah Hockey DNA. This is a channel specifically designed for.
You said Utah Hockey.
Great. Once again, folks, before we get into content, this is Utah Jazz. It's literally on the screen. Once again,
first time, Darren.
Yeah,
okay.
First try.
It's okay. First try every time.
Yeah. Once again, folks, before we get into content, we want to remind you that this is a channel specifically dedicated to your Utah Jazz DNA. Be sure to drop in the comments. Let us know what you think about your Utah Jazz. Smash that like button for your boy AJ right over there.
Boom.
And if you're enjoying this content, consider subscribing. We're going to be giving away one of those sweet new Utah Mountain Road jerseys once this channel hits 1,000 subscribers. So
that's right. Smash it.
That's right. That's right. All right. So we want to talk a little bit about the Utah Jazz. First off, we want to talk about, where's our stuff here? Walker Kessler, man.
Yeah.
So we want to talk about Walker Kessler today. This guy was under consideration, needs to be under consideration for one of the most improved players of the year award, right? Because this turnaround that he's done from his highly touted rookie year when he kind of just came in as an afterthought in the trade to being one of the, I think it was top 5 in rookie of the year candidates last year.
I believe so.
And 2 years ago. Yeah. And then he had a very underwhelming second season, which we were actually hoping to be a huge springboard for him because he played a little bit with USA basketball.
Yeah.
But with that didn't work out. That didn't plan out the way we expected to. Had a bad year. And man, is he getting back into shape and showing us what his promise and where he's going to be at.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, Walker, he's just really come back to, like you said, exactly who we thought he would be as a player. He's already scored more points this season in 47 games than he did in 64 games last year. So right now he's averaging 11.5 points per game, playing just over 30 minutes a night, and is averaging 12 rebounds per game while blocking 2.3 shots per game. So he's already had 24 double-doubles this season and only had 27 in the previous 2 seasons combined.
Wow.
It just shows you this guy's really just come along, right? Yeah, I mean, yes, obviously he's averaging 7 more minutes per game than in the previous 2 seasons, but those numbers are significant, right? Like the fact is that this guy is turning into a double-double machine. His offense has come so far from when that first season, he was getting easy baskets, but he's actually becoming an offensive weapon that you can count on to get buckets. Obviously, he's a defensive stopper. Walker Kessler he's turning into exactly the player that we really needed him to be. And he's just playing great basketball, man. I mean, the fact is if he can keep this offensive and defensive productivity, like even on the steady incline that he's currently on, he's just going to be a huge part of this team moving forward.
Oh yeah. We went from last year talking about potentially just being a piece that we could trade because he's not really gelling into being where he's at. Speaking of which, with all the connecting rumors that we had, I don't know if you heard read the articles lately. It's been popping up over the last couple of days, but there are rumors that the Lakers and the Knicks, according to Mark Stein of ESPN, went in hard after trying to get a trade for him.
Yeah,
this during the trade deadline, which is crazy to think about.
But also, and to piggyback off that, I'm pretty sure the Jazz made it very clear that Walker Kessler is not on the trade block.
Yeah, well, definitely not after this year. I mean, with how well he's doing, they made a strong offers, and honestly, this year, if he keeps playing the way he is, I can see those offers coming in the postseason, like the off season.
Yeah,
only getting higher just depending on how the playoffs shake out. But really impressed with Walker Kessler. Think he's doing an amazing job. This was kind of the year that we were hoping he would have last year. But the fact that he's able to do that and have a development, having the leap in his development this year after such a underwhelming season last year, just speaks to his character, speaks to his ability to shift and really listen to the coaches and say, okay, this is how I need to develop. I mean, you're right, 7 minutes more per game, but that's the type of scoring and the type of averaging a double. That's like averaging like 15 more minutes a game type production. So I'm really impressed with it. I really am. We'd love to hear from you folks. Let us know what you think in the comments down below when it comes to Walker Kessler and his development this year. I mean, obviously he's going to be one of the pieces that we're going to be a lock for this team going forward.
Absolutely. No, he is. And also another piece that we're about to talk about in just a second here too.
Yeah, let's go ahead and talk about that. Now, we're not going to go into too much on this one because we just did a whole breakdown of it last week. Check out our previous video. We'll link to it somewhere. And that's about Isaiah Collier, man. What happened with our boy this week?
So the NBA announced just this week that Isaiah Collier was named the Western Conference Rookie of the Month for February. He obviously started in all 13 games in February and averaged 11.5 points and 9.5 assists per game.
Yeah, which is really impressive, man. Obviously we just talked about him last week, like I mentioned, and we're talking about how this kid is like, just making the problem with a rookie here is that your shot's going to be a little, it's going to take a while to develop your shot. It's going to take a little bit to develop your defense. Right. But court vision is something that he either is going to have or he's not going to have.
Yep, absolutely.
This kid clearly does. He has the size of Darren Williams, and he's actually a little bit quicker than what Darren Williams was.
I would think so. I mean, it definitely looks like it on the court.
Yeah, he's a pass first quarterback. Point guard. He is undersized, so we can't have him at the 2 guards position. So we're going to need to keep him at the 1.
Crazy. He's undersized at 6'3".
Yeah. Well, you can't have him at a 6'3". He's going to be undersized at a shooting guard. Yes.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Undersized for a 2.
Yeah, he's undersized for a 2, so he needs to be a 1. That's why Keontae is better suited as a 2 because he's at the 6'5" spot where he's going to be more prolific. Even that's technically a little undersized for what most modern NBA 2s are. But I really think it's impressive what this kid's done this year, like you mentioned, and he's going to be on set to break John Stockton's assist record as a rookie, which is super impressive. It's John Stockton didn't start his rookie year, but still that guy put up some dimes, man. And the fact that we haven't had a rookie point guard come anywhere close to breaking Stockton's work until Isaiah, I think that's really impressive.
Yeah. I mean, and to go a little bit further into that statistic, Collier now has more games with 10 plus assists by any Jazz rookie and the most points and assists doubles by a Jazz rookie all time.
No kidding.
Absolutely.
You hear her first, guys.
Yeah. And the fact is he had 123 assists in February, which ranked 3rd in all of the NBA, behind only Nikola Jokic and Trae Young.
No kidding.
That is a very impressive statistic, dude.
How good is Jokic, man? 7-footer, just throwing dimes. Anyway,
ridiculous.
Sorry, back to Isaiah. We're talking about Isaiah here. I just think it's really impressive that we're actually talking about the same rookie 2 weeks in a row on this channel, which I think is really impressive. Something we didn't want to do, but we had to do because Isaiah just
keeps giving us reasons, man.
Demanding it, man. I absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. We want to hear from you folks. Let us know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. We want to hear from you on what you think about Isaiah Collier's doing as a rookie this year. Are you impressed? Do you see him as being a piece for this team long term? Honestly, right now, man, I'm on the fence, dude. Like before, I'm like, oh, he'd be a decent backup point guard.
Yeah,
but I don't know, man. Like
the way that he's getting and the way that he handles. The fact is he handles his leadership on the floor is something that you can really appreciate, right? Like he goes out there and as a rookie, that confidence is so few and far between to go out there and be like, okay, hey, this is the play we're running.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You guys make your cuts and I'll find you.
Right.
That is just, it's crazy, dude. I don't know. I'm just so here for it. Like I'm really excited to watch Isaiah Collier in the future.
Yeah, I am too, man. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. Look forward to seeing what the Jazz do in this offseason with the draft. And you can imagine, if it goes the way we want to go, this team can look pretty impressive pretty quickly. So
number 1 pick.
Absolutely. In the pooper for Cooper. That's right. That's
Pooper for Cooper.
Yeah. Capture the flag.
As long as we finish bottom 3, we got the same chance to get that odds. Number 1 as the worst team in the league.
Yeah, but unfortunately we have a new player entering in. after the just abysmal February that the Dallas Mavericks had. They traded Luka, which is going to go down as the worst NBA trade of all time,
hands down.
Then after that, the player they traded for goes down with a season-ending injury, so he's out. So AD's out, which was a shock to nobody. And then now you've got Kyrie Irving,
season-ending injury,
ACL, tears his ACL.
Yeah.
By the way, did that just not put chills in your spine when you watched him walk up and take those free throws when he was just crying? I'm like, dude, that's Kobe-esque right there.
Yeah, that
was impressive. I mean, I don't know why. I'm not sure why he was crying, but honestly, when it comes to it, dude, like he's in a contract year. Remember when we thought Dallas was taking a huge risk signing him to that,
absolutely,
to bringing him over. We're like, what are they doing?
One of our very first episodes, we talked about what are the Mavericks doing? This is the stupidest move I've ever seen.
Yeah, like if he's ever going to play, blah, 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 blah. And Kyrie's proved us wrong, man. He's been on the court. He's been balling. He's been a teammate. It's been impressive.
Yep.
So hopefully everything works out for him the way he wants. Hopefully he gets that last big payday,
Absolutely. He deserves it.
He does. Yeah. Now, before we move on from Utah Jazz, there's one more mention we want to talk about, which is Utah Jazz former assistant head coach. That is Alex Jensen. He's currently, do you want to run with this or do you want me to?
You can open it. Absolutely.
Okay. So Utah basketball, the University of Utah did fire their head coach, Greg Smith, last week.
Yep.
Josh Ellert is taking over in the interim. All reports that Mark Harlan is actually heavily targeting former Ute and former Utah Jazz assistant head coach Alex Jensen for the role. He was the assistant coach from 2013 through 2023. Jensen also played on the 98 Rick Majerus team that lost the national title game to Kentucky. All reports are saying that he is likely to accept the offer, with an announcement expecting to come within the next 48 to 72 hours, according to reports from ESPN. What's your take on this, man?
I mean, I absolutely love this dude. I mean, the fact is he went to the U. He's been a part of this community for, like you said, 10 plus years. Obviously he left. He's been in Dallas for the last couple of years after Quinn Snyder left. He went a different direction as well, but I think this helps this team in a really nice level, just because of the fact that he can help recruit and show what this team has, what it is to be a Ute, what it is to play in Salt Lake City. And, it's kind of an interesting fact is he interviewed for this U of U head coaching job 4 years ago when it was open.
Yeah, I heard about that. So not a good look, Mark Harlan, on why you picked Greg. But
so he actually withdrew his name for consideration before a decision was made.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
that makes better sense.
Yeah.
Like, dude, what if we could have had him 4 years ago?
Yeah. Ugh. And at that point, he's still an assistant coach. Quinn Snyder, the things with Quinn Snyder were obviously, that's in the 2021 season, right? The Jazz were rocking and rolling, one of the best teams in the NBA. That's a tough decision to take a head coaching job at the local university versus if you have an opportunity to be a head coach at an NBA team, obviously you're going to take that. And Alex Jensen's been very highly touted, right? I mean, he's been on the short list of head coach candidates for years.
Yeah, which is kind of my thing there. Like, why now? Like, are they going to make an incredible offer to this guy? Like, to me, I don't understand why he's even considering this, because he should be, right on the cusp of getting an NBA head coaching job.
He probably is, but I mean, look at what BYU just did. I mean, the fact is that they just signed an NBA level coach to come in and coach their men's basketball team. And I think that U knows that they have to respond with something.
Yeah.
So now I'm not sure if he's getting that kind of money, but the fact is they're going to make it worth this time to come give that NBA level, because now you can say, look, this guy's coached in the NBA. This guy's been here. He's done it. He's coached some of the best basketball teams in the last 5 years. He's been with the Mavericks. The Mavericks just made a run to the NBA finals. He coached the Jazz through one of their best seasons that they've ever had.
Yeah.
So he's got a ton of experience with position players of all sorts. He did a great job developing Rudy Gobert into an obviously, defensive four-time defensive player of the year. Like, Alex Jensen's done a great job. He's going to, if he gets this job, this will be fantastic for the University of Utah.
No, I 100% agree. I just, really curious on the fact that, why would when you're on the fast track there to becoming an NBA head coach, why you would take it. So I don't know. I think he does. He is from Utah. This is kind of like his thing. This is his space. So I totally get that and why he'd want to take the job. So I'm looking forward to it. I hope he does accept it. And yeah, we're looking forward to that. It would really be a great thing to move on to the next thing, because as Greg Hawkins comments here, Mark Harlan is still terrible. Yeah, like this, like the hire of Greg Smith, that was his hire, man. Like, that was his first hire for this, for his, as an AD. He can't mess this one up.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's not a good look.
I mean, he walked in pretty easily with Kyle Whittingham as the head coach of the football program, but your two largest revenue sports are men's basketball and college football. So he's got to make sure that he's getting people into the stands to watch these U of U games. The ticket prices have been slowly falling because they haven't had a great season. And you've got to do something to make a push and say, this is going to be a team that you need to come watch.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's been definitely not been the same thing up at the Hill there in the Huntsman Arena for the last several years. And I don't blame the fans for that. It's kind of tough to come and watch this team right now, but definitely going to be exciting to see what happens in the future. Hopefully, Alex Jensen does accept the job and comes to be Utah head coach. And we've got 2 NBA head coaches running NBA caliber professional programs here in the state of Utah. That'd be fantastic.
Go Utes.
Absolutely. All right. We want to hear from you folks. Let us know what you think in the comments down below. As a reminder, folks, we did just launch Utah Jazz DNA. This is a channel specifically for your Utah Jazz content. All of our content will be posted here. Be sure to check us out. Jump in the comments. Let us know what you think about your Utah Jazz. Smash that like button for your boy AJ over there. And consider subscribing if this is the type of content that you're enjoying.
Absolutely.
All right, let's go ahead and pivot on over and talk a little bit about Major League Baseball, shall we?
Let's do it. Roll the intro.
All right, man. So let's go ahead and jump into it here. First of all, I'm super excited. Spring training is going well, and we are about 2 weeks away from the Cubs and the Dodgers' first pitch in Tokyo. But we want to talk about that. Before we get into the content, folks, we want to encourage you to join the conversation in the comments down below. While you're down there, consider subscribing to the channel if this is the type of content you're enjoying, and also smash that like button for your boy AJ. The first one we want to talk about is the recent story about first of all, is the consideration about Pete Rose. Have you heard about this?
Absolutely. Yeah. So you break into it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So according to ESPN, the commissioner is reviewing a petition filed on January 8th by Pete Rose's family to have baseball's all-time hit leader removed from the ineligible list. Rose, who obviously died September 30th in 2024 at age 83, was banned from baseball for life in 1989 after an investigation found that he had bet on baseball. His reinstatement would make him eligible for the Hall of Fame. So my questions for you.
Mm-hmm.
Should the MLB lift the lifetime ban on Pete Rose? And if they do you think he makes it into the Hall of Fame?
Okay, let's start with the lifting the ban, right?
Yep.
So based off of just what is called a lifetime ban, his life is now over. So technically the ban should be lifted. He's not alive. He can't get a job in baseball.
Yeah. Because
he's no longer with us, right? So I can understand why they're considering it, because of the fact that it is, in connection with the type of band that it is. Do I think he's going to get admitted, or do I think they're going to lift the ban? Honestly, I don't think they do, because Shoeless Joe Jackson's still banned after the Black Sox scandal. That was over 100 years ago. He's not getting back in the NBA. I mean, sorry, in the MLB. Definitely not in the NBA.
I hope he makes it to the NBA. That would be sick.
But yeah, so that's still a thing there. And he broke the cardinal rules, man. There's just no way around it. This is the one that you're not supposed to do. Yep. You're told every year before spring training, he knew what he was doing was wrong. And the worst part is how he handled himself after the ban. Okay. He never admitted that he betted on baseball.
Nope.
Never once. Just deny. Until he had a book to sell. Then all of a sudden, okay, yeah, I bet on baseball. But I only bet on my team to win.
That's it.
But he also didn't bet on his team to win every single game either. So if you are
make up your damn mind, Pete Rose.
So if you're doing that, if you are betting on baseball and you're always betting on your team to win, then why don't you bet every single game? Which basically kind of makes my point. Even as a manager, you have some say in the game. I'm sorry. This is one of the things that just is not okay. You can't bet on the game at all. Regardless of whether or not you're betting on your team to win, you just stay away from baseball. It's something that's told to you every single year. He knew what he was doing was wrong. And I think the main thing is what he was doing is after the fact that he denied doing it until he can make a buck off of it, and then he decided to. And then even then, is the ban gonna be lifted? Sure, I think it's possible that he does. Does he get a wing and does he get invited to Cooperstown after that? I hope not. I mean, it's really sad that he's an all-time hits leader. He's Johnny Hustle. He is, one of the greatest players in our sport. But if you let that in, you're setting a terrible, dangerous precedence that it's okay to do what he did. And I just don't think that that's just not a road you want to cross. Plus, it's Cooperstown. They're not part of Major League Baseball. Doesn't matter if President Trump pardoned him or not. It's their decision on whether or not they bring him in. And I don't think they're going to do it.
I think I disagree with a little bit of that because, like you said, it is a lifetime ban for a reason. His life is over. He is obviously not going to be able to get any jobs in Major League Baseball. He's not going to be able to talk about baseball ever again. This guy was a ridiculous talent in the sport. I mean, we're talking 5,000 hits in his career.
Mm-hmm. All-time hit leader.
And I think to give him an opportunity to go, yes, I think if you put him in the Hall of Fame, yes, you have to tell the whole story, right? That he was banned for this reason. But the fact is I think you put him in the Hall of Fame and you put his story in there. You put in there that he was the all-time hits leader. He made this mistake and he never got to participate in Major League Baseball again. Because that way in 100 years, when kids see this, they say, you can even be the all-time hits leader in Major League Baseball, make a stupid ass mistake and still never get to touch baseball again.
So the Houston Astros cheated their way to a World Series in 2017. Yes, I'm bringing this up again. Fight me. So the Astros cheated their way to a World Series in 2017, right?
Mm-hmm.
Commissioner called a piece of metal. Big deal forever. As far as farther down the road we go, the less people are going to remember that. And they're just going to know that they won the 2017 World Series. People are not going to remember the cheating scandal. They're not going to remember banging on trash cans. They're not going to remember the trash throws. You're going to look at a sheet of all the people who won a World Series, and it's going to be Houston Astros 2017 there. Eventually, That's what it's going to be. I don't think anybody gives a rip about what the plaque says. If Pete Rose is in the Hall of Fame, he's in the Hall of Fame. It's not going to matter.
But how do you deny somebody that left that lasting of an impact on the sport, dude? When this guy was here, when he was playing in this league, he was one of the most impactful players on every time he got up. This dude had like a 333 something batting, like an ERA batting average, right? Like we were just saying how hitting a baseball is one of the hardest things to do in all of professional sports. And this guy is the best at it of all time. One of the best all time to do it.
Yeah, currently. Yeah. And it's a shame. It's a shame that he threw away his legacy for that.
Absolutely.
There's just no way. If you crack open that door and you let him in, you can make anything you want. You can throw an asterisk on it. You can give it a special hall, the Cheaters Hall, where all the steroid users and everybody used and stuff like that. I am actually more willing to let the steroid users into the Hall of Fame than I am Pete Rose. And it just sucks because I know Pete Rose deserves to be in there because of his play alone. But the fact is that he knew what he was doing and he tarnished his own legacy and he just didn't think he was going to get caught. And if I think afterwards, like right after it happened, he admitted it. He was like, you know what? I'm sorry. It was a mistake. I should never have done it. That ban would have been lifted a long time ago.
Right.
But it's how he acted after. It's like, no, I didn't do it. That Braun guy who won the 2018 MVP, the 2015, can't remember what year it was, but somebody won the National League MVP, and then he got accused of steroids. And he just went, how dare you accuse me of that? You're anti-Semitic, blah, 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 blah. He told all of his friends, I'm telling you as my friend, I would never do something like that. And then they all went on to have his back. Turns out he lied. He was doing steroids that whole time. And he did, and he got to keep his MVP. Right? it's the same thing until he, and it was even worse because Braun didn't make any money off of this until he could make a quick buck selling a book. That's when he decided to admit to it. He never admitted to it. If he would have turned around and said yes and was really upset about it and like was showing remorse from the get-go, we wouldn't be having this conversation. He would already be in the hall. So for me, it's just a flat out no. It just makes perfect sense to me that we've had 3 separate commissioners that have all said no. Every time there's a new commissioner, they make the appeal. They've always said no. And I think this isn't going to change at all. I think while they might lift a ban because it technically is a lifetime ban legally, I don't think he ever makes it into Cooperstown.
Let us know what you guys think. Leave us a comment down below. Make sure you comment. We want to know what you guys think.
We have a comment here from Greg Hawkins. Dodgers and Cubs, loser boys, winners, winner buys a beer. Wait, losers buys winner a beer. Sounds great, man. Sounds great. Are you in Utah? You have to let me know on that one. We have Pacific Northwest Ute saying, I bet that the Hall of Fame. I can't see that.
Eludes Pete.
The bloom of the rose. I can't read that. Can you see it?
The bloom is off the rose.
The bloom is off the rose. Yeah, I like it. Nice little play on words there. I appreciate it. Greg Hawkins also has the Hall of Fame. I personally believe the players should be inducted purely based off of what they did for baseball. Yeah. And I think that that's probably part of also a very good point. You know, it's exactly what you're saying. You can't tell. One of my rules is you can't tell that story of baseball. If you can't tell that decade in baseball or that half decade, you can't tell the story of that without that player being in there, then they need to be in there. I just have a really hard time budging on this one because like it's the rule, man. You can't break the rule. Greg, you had to go there. Did you see this? Look at Trevor Bauer. Always a good time when Trevor Bauer gets.
We love Trevor Bauer.
Yeah, you know, I'm done listening to his lackeys though. I'm just done with it.
If you guys want to know what we're talking about, go watch any of our previous Trevor Bauer videos. We are huge supporters of Trevor Bauer, and in every single video we post, it is comment after comment about how you guys are just Trevor Bauer haters. It's like that is exactly the opposite of what we are.
Yeah, I'm just done talking with them. Anyway, so look at Trevor Bauer, look at Barry Bonds. These are people that should be in the Hall of Fame, but based on the current
arbitrary judgments based on factors outside of baseball, they're not.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say against Barry Bonds, that has nothing to do with outside of baseball. The fact is, he also, choose to have an unfair advantage while on the field. So, not necessarily off the field. And honestly, there's people in the Hall of Fame that use steroids, but they didn't get busted for it.
And I like his next comment though,
and they also didn't deny it either.
He said after retirement, regarding Trevor Bauer, of course. Do you think Trevor Bauer has a shot at the Hall of Fame after he's done?
Absolutely not. What Hall of Fame career? Congratulations, you striked out 19 players in the Mexican League. You got a Cy Young. He
did win a Cy Young
in the 2020 season. If the rings don't count, neither do the Cy Youngs. Okay, I don't want to hear about it. And he says, I am in Utah. Sweet.
Oh,
man.
Greg,
Sweet.
We're definitely getting a beer then.
Yeah, definitely. For sure. That would be awesome. But yeah, we'd love to hear from you guys. Let us know in the comments down below what you think about this whole Pete Rose thing. I'm pretty staunch on my thought process there. I don't know, man. I think
I had to rattle your cage a little bit with an altering opinion.
No, you got to. And
that's what I'm here for.
And I totally see the argument.
Yeah.
My argument's always been you can't tell that's the part of history of baseball without that person. They need to be in the Hall. And like I said, I'm more willing to let the steroid users in because it was literally 80% of the players were doing that. So like it's kind of tough to keep them out for that reason.
Oh, dude, that comment is gold.
See,
how about a Rose Hall of Fame exhibit sponsored by FanDuel?
Dude, Pacific Northwest, you nailed it.
You are actually my hero for that comment.
Comment of the show right there. Absolutely love it. That's great. Comment of the show for sure. All right, but let's go ahead and jump into the next subject we want to talk about in Major League Baseball. And we can't talk on our channel without talking Dodgers at least once. That's just kind of how this works.
Not even a Dodgers fan.
And I actually didn't want to even talk Dodgers baseball on this channel because I didn't want to be considered a homer. I always found it wasn't until, the Dodgers were a story to talk about that we even talked about it. So I think it's funny that We talk about them every week. But anyway, so there's an article done by The Athletic, and we'll drop the link in the description down below here. And the article was saying the 5 MLB teams that could dethrone the Dodgers. So did you get the chance to read this article?
I did. I read through it, but I want to break down the teams, and then I want you to tell me if they got a chance to break the Dodgers.
Like, seriously, we didn't even talk about this.
That's what I'm talking about.
And I didn't even put it in there like I was supposed to, but perfect. All right, let's do that. So why don't you go ahead and run your line? Let's start with one.
Okay, absolutely. So obviously this article says, because the big question for every single person that is even a remote Major League Baseball fan is can anybody beat the Dodgers? Right? They've just reloaded. They're just building a big ass tank with armor everywhere. And then you open up the trap doors in the back, and they got more guys coming out the back that can't even operate the tank. Like,
it's just going out the rails.
It's just crazy. Okay. Way more people than they even freaking need. And, but that's, that's a subject for a completely different video that we're again getting off the rails with. Okay. So the first team on this list is the New York Yankees. Mm-hmm. They're obviously the reigning American League champs. Are they better than last year? Maybe. I mean, they obviously lose Soto, right? You lose Juan Soto, which is a hit to this team. He did a good job for them last year.
Yeah.
They got injuries to Giancarlo Stanton, and maybe Lou Gill. But the fact is you add Max Fried, Cody Bellinger, Devin Williams. Are the Yankees better than the Dodgers?
They're not better than the Dodgers. They are better than they were last year. They're definitely better than they are last year. I was getting in the comments with somebody. By the way, always appreciate people in the comments. They're having that conversation, making a comment. We respond, and then you respond back. It's all in good fun. No one's taking it too seriously, so we appreciate that. Keep it up. But I was going back and forth on that. He's like, "Oh yeah, the Yankees were a better team until they went when they were still up 5-0." I said, "Well, in all honesty, you guys were down 3-0 in games. Just like you said." The better team wins baseball games. Yeah, their pitching got better. They added Cody Bellinger. Their bullpen got better. So a lot of the problems they had are fixed. But just like you said, Juan Carlos Stanton, he's also on the injured list. He's not going to start the season with a tennis elbow in both his elbows. Luis Gil is going to be down.
How did he get it in both elbows?
Just working out too hard, man.
His elbow is very specific because most players only use one elbow.
Yeah, it's a weightlifting thing. It happens to some weightlifters because when you're squeezing the
to tone it down. What the hell?
Yeah, we could barely walk and run. DJ LeMahieu has never been the same after like maybe his third year with the Yankees.
Right. So
there's some other issues there. And yeah, Max Fried. I think Max Fried and Devin Williams really make a huge impact for this team. Do I think they're a Dodger killer? No, because the issue is the Dodgers just re-upped on pitching too. You got Devin Williams in the back of your bullpen. Well, we added Tanner Scott. You got.
I mean, if you're going to choose Devin Williams or Tanner Scott, which one are you going to take?
Oh gosh, that's a tough one. I'm going to take Tanner Scott, but just barely, because the Airbender does have a tendency to tip his pitches. And then you added Max Fried. Well, we added Blake Snell and Roki Sasaki. So, we did a lot more on the pitching side, and we also maintained our hitters. You lost one of your power hitters and got Cody Bellinger. Nothing but love for the Billy Bomb, but no, I don't think they're a Dodger killer at all.
Okay. Next team, obviously my personal favorite here, the Atlanta Braves.
Okay.
They just obviously added Jerickson Profar, who is having a great offseason so far. He's looking really good. They do, their biggest addition this season is really just me getting guys back off of injury. Ronald Acuna Jr., Spencer Strider. I mean, if Chris Sale can even come anywhere near his ridiculous season last year, obviously that's something to look out for. But the Braves do still obviously have some room in their budget. They could potentially add somebody via trade. And there is a fresh round of speculation that the Braves could potentially try to make a move for Dylan Cease from the Padres, which would make them very similar to the Dodgers pitching rotations. What are your thoughts? Are the Braves, can they dethrone the Dodgers this year?
Let me start by saying you're completely wrong. Just adding Dylan Cease is not going to make their starting rotation as good as the Dodgers. Now they're adding Dylan Crease.
Oh, Dylan Crease.
That's a game changer right there. DNA OGs know what we're talking about there.
Autocorrect.
Yeah,
that's exactly what we're talking about. It's gotten me multiple times on this show. And I just, for the record, when I typed that name in my notes, I was like, if you autocorrect this shit again, I'm throwing this damn iPad.
Jerickson Proxar is a nuisance to the Dodgers. He's a Dodger killer. He has been his whole career. He's a great player. He gets a little too emotional and gets a little too in his head. He was actually one of the reasons why the Padres lost the series last year against the Dodgers there. Chris Sale, if he has a decent year, Spencer Strider is going to be nails. Ronald Acuna is not going to be able to start the season with the team. And, it's 2 out of 3 years he's been hurt, man. And, he got an MVP that 1 year, but you already lost your catcher. He's done. He's out. Your catcher, Murphy. What?
Sean Murphy's out?
Yeah, he's out. Like, he got hurt.
I missed that.
The problem is the Braves are going to have the same issue last year that they had this year that they're going to have last year to start the season. I would need to see some healthy innings from these guys before I really see it. Do I think they're going to be the front runner to win their division over the Phillies and everybody else and the Mets? Yeah, I actually still think the Braves are going to win their division.
Go Braves.
Hands down. They also do have the second best odds to win a World Series after the Dodgers.
Go Braves.
So do I think there are threats? Out of everybody on this list, I think they're going to be the highest, but it's going to be interesting for sure. But the Dodgers had Roki Sasaki, Yamamoto, Blake Snell,
just keep bragging it up.
Tyler Glass now.
Freaking Dodgers fans.
Yeah. I just, it's just really tough to compete with that rotation, but we'll see if they even stay healthy. So the Braves are probably the biggest threat on this list, I think.
Absolutely. I, as a Braves fan, totally agree.
I like it.
Okay. Next one on this list is the Boston Red Sox, which looks like we've cleared the Alex Bregman as third baseman.
That's been
debacle.
Yeah, that's
right. That's been cleared up. So, I mean, this team could be really good. Can Trevor Story return to an elite level? Obviously, they've got a really good chance to really compete and have a shot at that AL East title. But can they compete with the Dodgers?
Let's start with the first one. Yes, they compete for the NL East title. Absolutely. Having Alex Bregman as your third baseman, reigning Gold Glover from third base.
Absolutely.
Trevor Story, no, he's not going to become an elite, but they did just add Walker Buehler, who is my pick for the Cy Young for the American League this year. Mark it. Walker Buehler, Cy Young
right now.
Winner. They also got Garrett Crochet in the title there, in the change there as well. Yeah, they're looking really, really good, man. I just don't know what they added as far as outside of Alex Bregman. I don't really know who is really kind of moving the needle from them. They still seemed a little, what's the word I'm looking for? Not underwhelming, but they still seem to.
I'm screwing this all up. Why is it not? Why is the overlay not on?
Here, let me get it.
What did I do?
So, but their pitching looks good. They added but they did exactly what the Yankees did, except they added a better bat. So I think that there are a chance. Yeah, absolutely. There's a chance they can do it. I don't think they're going to dethrone the Dodgers though, but they do have a chance to win the NL East, the AL East.
Okay. I like it. The next team on this list is the Philadelphia Phillies.
I know this is PTSD right here for you.
Yeah. I mean, the Phillies are the Phillies are a good team, man. I mean, they still got Bryce Harper, they still got Trey Turner. And realistically, this team's contention window is still 100% open, right? The fact is they added Jesus Luzardo, which they might have the second best rotation in the National League. And even if you could, Tajon Walker, if his spring performance can kind of carry through the season, this team could be really good this year. They're a playoff lock, essentially. This team's really dangerous when they get to the playoffs because Bryce Harper is still that guy.
Oh, yeah.
But do they have enough to get past the Dodgers when they get to that point?
No, I don't. This is a team that's very built to be offensive first. The same problem that the Yankees ran into last year during the World Series is the same problem the Phillies are going to run into. You have a DH that's only a DH because you can't put Kyle Schwarber anywhere on the field.
Right.
He's just a defensive liability. You got Bryce Harper. You got Justin Turner. Sorry, not Justin Turner. Different Turner. He is with the Blue Jays, I believe. Anyway, so
Trey Turner.
Trey Turner with the Phillies. It can be that guy, and he can be that guy in the postseason. It's just that they are very much offensive heavy and starter pitcher heavy, and everything else be damned. I don't really like their bullpen too much, and I really don't like their defensive capabilities. They're going to run into a lot of the same problems where they're going to have a bunch of self-inflicting errors they're going to need to combat. Now, are they as bad as the Yankees defensively? Absolutely not, but they are going to run into the same issue. So no.
Okay. Last team on this is the New York Mets. We all know that the Mets landed Juan Soto, and he's supposed to bring the Mets back to stardom. They did bring back Pete Alonso.
Back to stardom. They were in the National League pennant series last year.
But that wasn't enough.
Apparently not.
They want to go World Series or bust, right? They just signed Juan Soto for $472 quadrillion with an AAV of 162 billion. It's, a ridiculous contract. And really, this was one of the most exciting teams last year.
Yeah.
The Mets had a great year, but can they make it happen again? Do they have enough? Is Soto that guy that can make them turn that corner and get past and make it into the World Series next year?
I still say the Braves are the biggest threat, even with the Mets. They signed Juan Soto to $750 million 15-year contract. You
didn't like my contract valuation?
I just want to make sure people get in the comments and they get a little snippy, so I don't want to get. They're like, "Oh, you guys are totally wrong." So but when it comes to this, man, Juan Soto was on. Juan Soto was on the Padres team that didn't even make the playoffs.
Right.
Juan Soto was then on the Yankees team, and granted, he carried the Yankees to the playoffs, right, and helped out a ton in the World Series when Aaron Judge disappeared. But he didn't help the Yankees win the World Series either.
Also, a borderline defensive liability.
Yeah,
the dude's horrible out there.
Yeah, he's below average for sure, and he's going to be a DH after 3 years. Honestly, you might as well put him there now. But he wasn't enough to help the Yankees get over that, and the Yankees have a much better starting pitcher rotation and a better bullpen. So, yeah, and I don't know, like that contract to me wasn't worth it. I think they paid him too much, and they didn't do anything else when it comes to pitching.
We did do a great video on Juan Soto, by the way. Make sure I'll link it up here, or maybe
somewhere around here.
Somewhere.
Yeah, but out of the list of the 5, man, I say the biggest threat to the Dodgers this year out of the 5 is definitely going to be the Atlanta Braves. I think that they have the pedigree to do it. They have the history to do it. They have knocked out the Dodgers in the past without Ronald Acuna Jr. on the team.
Go Braves.
But they also did lose some pitching, so hopefully they do something to improve on that.
Go Braves.
We want to hear from you folks. Let us know what you think in the comments down below. We want to hear from you on who do you think is the contender that can actually knock the Dodgers off the throne there. The Dodgers are going to be the #1 team to win the World Series again. Who do you think has the best shot at knocking them off? We'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, is it going to be one of these teams? Is it going to be somebody else? Let us know in the comments down below.
Yeah, we also going to hit a few comments here. Greg Hawkins, good point on Barry Bonds. Touche. Appreciate it, man. We have Pacific Northwest Ute. Let's see how about we covered that one already. Still great comment, dude. Love it.
Love it.
How about Roki though? His fastball, man. Yeah. So Roki Sasaki, he's throwing like 98, 99 in his debut, which was really funny because it's down from 101. I'm just like, dude, I don't care if you ever throw a 101 again. That splitter was insane. And even the broadcasters were confounded by it. Like, oh, it looks like he's throwing a changeup. Like, no, that's a nasty splitter. And it was swung and missed 7 out of 8 times that he threw it. It was just absolutely crazy. And it said that his fastball is a laser. It's a laser. Nice. Let's see here. Greg Hawkins also comments the Cubs are looking phenomenal, though. Spring so far, it's unreasonably. What is it?
He said, "I'm unreasonably hyped over this team."
Hey, man, they did on this same article we were talking about. They did also mention them as an honorable mention.
Absolutely,
with the Padres, Rangers, and Astros. So very cool, man. Very cool. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, man. They definitely have a chance to win their division. Because honestly, in there, it's either them or Milwaukee, and I think that they have a better chance this year to knock out Milwaukee for sure. Once again, folks, we got anything else?
I think that's it, man.
All right, perfect.
We're through it.
Appreciate it. Once again, folks, if you're watching this on you, how do we do this?
I don't remember. Oh, we should probably let people know. Anybody that is watching, we are off next week. Darren has got a job or something.
Yeah. I mean, I'd be back Thursday, so I can still do it Thursday unless you want the week off. Guess we should be deciding this live on the channel then.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah. So anyway, folks, I'll be traveling for work next week, so we definitely won't be on Wednesday for sure. But once again, folks, thank you for tuning in to this week episode of the DNA Sports Recap. If you have not yet, make sure you subscribe to the channel. We are giving the first $500 that we earn in AdSense revenue back to y'all. So make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, so you don't miss out on that giveaway.
Absolutely. And if you're watching on YouTube on one of our short videos, just know this is available as a podcast, the whole episode, wherever you get your audio.
And smash that like button for your boy AJ over there.
Bam, smash it.
Give us some engagement. We appreciate it.
I want you to click that thing so hard it breaks your mouse.
Only an odd amount of times, not even. And check out our merch store down below. We're adding new stuff every week, so be sure to check it out.
Yep.
With all that said, my name is Darren. That is AJ, and this has been an episode of the DNA Sports Recap.
Till next time.